He's so much braver in the Sunmakers. This is not like Villa at all. Nice to actually see one of those used.
You were supposed to disconnect that thing, not rely on Gander tear it loose with his teeth.
All right, now calm down. Are you sure this is it?
How did they not notice?
Then,
No,
retaliation status report.
the wheel in space!
Expressed his own very grave concern over this matter.
Is that Peter
The
Miles?
Communications Center has far-reaching political consequences. Controllers from some of the outer planets, whose loyalty to the
I got
Federation
Jacqueline Pierce and Peter Miles?
delicately balanced, have been openly critical of the administration's defense system.
I am beyond excited. I just listened to the Doctor Who 90s audio drama, The Paradise of Death, one of the with John Pertwee and Elizabeth Slade and Nicholas Courtney, for the first time, literally like over the past 2 days. And I was so stoked that it had Peter Miles in it, because I love when Peter Miles shows up in Doctor Who. I love Peter Miles. He's great. So I was so stoked that I had another Doctor Who story with Peter Miles. And I just listened to the first War Doctor story of the Monstrous or whatever, the Innocent, which has Jacqueline Pierce as a Time Lord in it. And I've been waiting for her to show up in this. And not only does she show up, but at the exact same time I finally get Jacqueline Pierce in this, I also get Peter Miles. I'm beyond excited. Beyond excited. God, yes.
You have some criticism of my handling of this matter, Secretary Rontaine?
Not at all. I hoped merely to convey the concern shown by the President when he
sees it clearly. He has no time for the dirty grey areas of your politics.
I'm sure you're right. And of course the appointment is made on you. Space Commander Travis.
Travis?
Do you know him?
I thought he was dead. I was sure I'd killed him.
Ooh. Yeah, Travis is going to have something personal. Maybe that's why he's got the eye patch. Those are some interesting.
Shouldn't you rest now?
That the memory erase has begun to fade, and I can remember.
Do you remember enough to recognize Travis again?
The man who killed 20 of my friends. Oh, yes, I'll recognize him. What is her condition?
We'll still have a clipboard in the future. They just drag her along.
Commander Escom reporting, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Space Commander. I've escorted the prisoner to the interrogation room. My men have been briefed to keep out of sight until you give them somebody else. Killing you will change nothing. You don't matter enough to kill Travis.
I think I'd have killed him. He strikes me as smart.
Please get down!
Ooh. So, my initial thoughts on Seek, Locate, Destroy. I enjoyed this one. Did not go where I thought it was going at first. I thought that robot was going to have more in play. Since the episode was called Seek, Locate, Destroy, I thought it was going to be like them avoiding the robot for a lot of the episode. This episode really just kind of thrust us into it. We didn't know what was happening. They were just there on the planet, and there's a robot with a flamethrower in its chest. Okay, you have my attention. We actually got a little stuff with Villa. I still wish Gan had more to do. Is that how you say his name, Gan? I wish he had more to do. I feel like he just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But it was nice to see Villa have some stuff to do while being heroic and cowardly at different moments. I enjoyed that. We finally got Jacqueline Pierce. I just listened to the first War Doctor Big Finish audio, The Innocent, the other day, which has Jacqueline Pierce playing a Time Lord in it. And I'm like, I got to Jacqueline Pierce in Doctor Who before I got to her in Blake 7. I mean, I'd already gotten to her in The Two Doctors. I got to Jacqueline Pierce in Doctor Who Big Finish before I got to her in Blake 7. But we finally have her. She's great. Love that haircut she's got going. But it's great. I'm loving her character in that. And not only that, oh, to my surprise, we have Peter Miles. I don't know if that was just a one-off because he wasn't in there long. I don't know if that's just one-off or his character's going to come back or if he's going to come back as another character. Oh, please tell me I get more of Peter Miles in Blake 7. But as soon as I saw Peter Miles, I got super excited. I don't know why. I just like Peter Miles. He's just one of those actors. I always love when he shows up in Doctor Who. And literally, just the past couple days, I've been listening to The Paradise of Death for the first time. And he was in that. He was in, which is a 90s Doctor Who audio with the third Doctor, John Pertwee, and Liz Sladen and Nicholas Courtney. And it had Peter Miles voicing a character in it. And I was so excited. It's one of the reasons I like that story, because I just love when Peter Miles shows up in Doctor Who. So to have him here made my day. I felt really good about that. I hope he comes back. I hope there's more Peter Miles in Blake 7. He just has this cool voice. I like his voice. His voice is just cool to me. He plays that kind of villainous character so well. He would have been a really good voice actor for like video games and cartoons too. I don't know if he ever did that, but he would have been good at that. So I was happy to see him. I was happy to get Jacqueline. I really liked this story. It also introduced this Captain Travis and gave us their backstory gave us his backstory with Blake. And how they have a rivalry of why Blake doesn't like Travis and why Travis doesn't like Blake, and that Blake is the reason why he has the robotic hand and the patch over his eye. And I knew when it mentioned having the laser in his hand, that would have to come into play at some point, so I caught on when it was going to come into play at the episode. And it's neat that Blake goes there to save Callie, and Callie also ends up saving Blake by warning him about the laser. I enjoyed this one. There's just a lot of action going on in it. And I like that Avon wasn't really against them rescuing Callie. I figure, once they found out Callie was alive, he would have been the one that's like, we can't. She's captured. We can't risk everything. They'll know. No, the fact Avon was so chill with them going to rescue her, I was kind of surprised about that. He doesn't strike me as he would be chill about that. So I will admit that caught me off guard. But I like that. I enjoyed that. I'm glad they got her out. I like Callie. I mean, I've only had a couple episodes with her so far, but I'm liking her so far. And then I really like Blake's character, the fact that he is so loyal. I like the fact we found out how he got captured initially and got memory wiped, how he ended up in the circumstances he was in Spacefall, the first episode, whatever the first episode was, Spacefall, I forget. And how he ended up in that was Trevor's, whatever his name is, setting a trap for Blake, and Blake using that same thing here to get there first to trick him. I really like that. It's going to be an interesting dynamic going forward with the series. I think Blake's only in the first season or so. I know Blake leaves at some point. I think he's only in the first season, and then I think he shows up in a few episodes in the last season or something like that. So it'll be, for as long as Blake is in the show, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between him and Travis from here on out. It's nice that we have kind of a behind the curtains, politician type villain with Jacqueline Pierce's character. I've got to learn her character's name. I don't know it. I know it starts with an S, but I don't know it. And then we have the more physical soldier antagonist with Travis. So that's going to be interesting. This one was a lot of fun. I had a really good time with this. I got really animated, really excited with a lot of it. At first, I thought it was just going to be kind of a filler episode. No, this is one of the essential ones. You need to be able to watch this one. So this one was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Got me really actually excited about the next episode. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this episode of Blake 7. Jacqueline Pierce finally in the picture. And I liked this new Captain Travis or Commander Travis or whatever he is. I like him and his kind of personal connection he has with Blake, the antagonism there. I'm looking forward to seeing how that dynamic's going to progress. Supreme Commander, is that what Jacqueline Pierce's character is called? So she's kind of like the boss. I figured she was high up on the bad guy's side, but I didn't quite know. And then I got me some Peter Miles. I hope he's in the series more. I continue to be impressed with Gareth, is that his name? The guy who plays Blake. He's so good in that role. He has this charisma to him. I can see why he's a leader. why Blake is the leader. Gareth as an actor has good charisma, and then Blake as a character has good charisma. Where even Avon seems to have accepted that Blake is in charge, which I think is pretty interesting. And that Avon was a little more agreeable to things in this episode than he has been in some of the others. This is a huge improvement over episode 5, which was fine. Episode 5 was fine. The web was fine, but it was just kind of filler, you know, okay, fun filler episode. I enjoyed it well enough. This one really, I feel like, raised the game up a little bit, raised the stakes up a little bit. I think there's more going on. It's nice to see Blake continuing to try to sabotage the Galactic Federation wherever he can. You know, hitting them here and there with kind of sneak tactics, getting out before they can respond. It's going to be interesting to see how that progresses throughout the series. And I'm really getting used to Callie and liking Callie a lot. I hope we see more of Gan. I like the fact Villa had a little bit to do in this episode. That was nice. I want to see Gan have a little more to do. He had a little bit to do here, but I'd like to see him more involved as well. But yeah, I liked this one a lot. It was fun. It was really fun. Had me excited, had me smiling, had me talkative during the reaction. So I really enjoyed this one. Now, the full reaction to this with picture-in-picture is available on my Patreon, and it's available for every tier. Every tier, even the entry-level tier of $2. I'm trying to do most of the first season, at least, of Blake 7 at that level. I think some of the episodes thus far might have been at the $5 tier. I think some of them are at the $2 tier. This one should be available to all tiers, at least that's my plan. So if you are interested in seeing my uncut full reaction, check out my Patreon. There should be a link to that down. I do have a collection tab set up for Blake 7 where if you go into the collections, it has all of the episodes listed. If you're interested in seeing the full reaction to this video. I also would just appreciate the support on Patreon. It's a big help. And I want to give a shout out to Colin Coney, one of my top tier patrons. I appreciate his support, as I do the support of all of my patrons and YouTube members. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. This was actually, Blake 7 was actually sent to me by one of my subscribers. You can see it hiding back here. My subscriber, Flyattractor, sent that to me, which I very much appreciate. So if you'd like to send anything, check the P.O. box out. I also have a link to my Amazon wishlist down there and a link to my Amazon UK wishlist down there as well. Those have been updated recently. And if nothing else, I just appreciate if you click that like button and the subscribe button. That also helps. I'm growing the channel, crossed over 1,400 subs recently. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been amazing watching the channel grow over the past 4 years or so. It means a lot to see the channel this big. I never thought it would be where it's at, so that means a lot. So I'm very grateful to all of you. And most importantly, thank you for watching.